Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to be breaking down and reviewing the 8th game in the Spyro franchise, Spyro Orange, Cortex Conspiracy. This game was created in 2004 and was developed by Vicarious Visions and was just made for the Game Boy Advance. This is the 4th Spyro game that was developed for the Game Boy. This game actually has another version where you can play as Crash Bandicoot. The game starts off in a cutscene where Ripto is speaking, saying, "So it's agreed then. We'll work together to rid ourselves of Spyro and Crash." The screen transitions to Cortex, an antagonist in Crash. He says, "Yes, your army of Riptocs will be even more formidable." A little bit more conversation goes on and then spans over to the Professor and Hunter in Dragon Castle. There has been mysterious portals opening up all around Dragon Castle. The game then spawns us into Dragon Castle, but this time it's a side-scrolling platformer, much different to the free-roaming Spyro games of the past. All the portals within Dragon Castle lead you to different minigames. You have to beat each minigame 3 times to get all the gems and training cards. The first minigame in Dragon Castle is Castle Cruising, a simple driving level which requires you to shoot things that are in your way and jump over gaps. The second level starts adding mines that make it a little bit more difficult, and the third minigame deploys a lot more Rhinox to try and make things more difficult. Overall, though, it wasn't super difficult, being the first minigame. Beating it 3 times should give you 60 gems and the Dragonfly and Bunny training card. The second minigame is Fall In, Roll Out. You're driving through this area with a tank and every enemy, mine, and gate is one shot. Not super difficult. The second playthrough, though, everything becomes 2 shots and they add more enemies in. Still, if you take your time, it is not that difficult. The third playthrough makes everything 3 shots. This makes it a bit harder, but shouldn't be too worrisome. Beating this 3 times should give you 60 gems and the Frog and Basket trading cards. You didn't run into a gate you have to lift. You only need to do this once and you can just spam A. After opening it and getting to the other side, you get 20 gems. The next minigame is Rumble on the Ramparts. This is one of the easiest minigames in the game. You just try and take out the platforms and make them fall. If you spam the same side each time, he'll try and fix it and will fall. Doesn't get any harder the other 2 times. Defeating it 3 times will give you 60 gems and the Hamster and Black Sheep trading cards. The next minigame is Altitude Adjustment. And it's basically the same thing as the tank minigame, but we're up and down instead of side to side, and it's just Spyro flying. Each level adds another shot needed to destroy things. By the time you get to the 3rd level, it can get a little bit more difficult, but still it shouldn't be too hard. Defeating this will give you 60 gems and the Bird and Crystallized Dragon trading cards. The last minigame is Castle Chaos. It's almost like a game of pinball and you're trying to take them out. The first level is just trying to hit them all at once. The second and third level, they start to mix in blue ones. When you hit the blue ones, another ball pops out. Each level has 3 mini levels in it. Each time you defeat a level, the next one's the same enemies, just a faster ball. Defeating this 3 times gives you 60 gems and the Butterfly and Case trading card. You can now fight the boss and proceed to Arctic Cliffs. The boss fight for this level is actually Crash Bandicoot. Just like the previous minigame, if you just spam bombs in the same area, he will eventually fall. Defeating Crash gives you 20 gems and the Bianca trading card. The second area we travel to is Arctic Cliffs. When we arrive, we luckily obtained the ability to double jump now. It was weird not having any real mechanics when you first started the game. The professor is not far from where you start and he'll tell you about Ripto and Cortex. The first minigame here is Snow Steps. I absolutely hate this minigame. You try to dodge the electric fences. The first level isn't super hard, but I still struggled with it. The second and third levels are much faster and have much more lab assistance. I could just be in the minority here, but I really hate and struggle with these every time. Defeating this 3 times gives you 60 gems and the Disguised Ripto and Zoe trading cards. Arctic Attack is almost identical to the one we did in Dragon Castle. Each level goes up an extra shot. I never really struggled with these and enjoyed them compared to the other type of minigames. Defeating it 3 times will give you 60 gems and the Flying Riptalk and Sparks training cards. The next minigame is Blizzard Balls, just like the Castle Chaos minigame in Dragon Castle. The first level is all one shot. The second and third, they add lab assistance, also one shot, and orange Riptalks with shields, and they can bounce off your shot back towards you. You have to shoot the ball and hope it hits them from behind. Each time you defeat the level, it gets faster, but keeps the same number of enemies. Doing this 3 times gives you 60 gems and the Juggle, Riptalk, and Sheila training card. To get to the other side of the map, you have to do the fire and ice cutscene. Just tap A as fast as you can and melt the wall. Doing this gains you access to the other side and gives you 20 gems. The next minigame is Tread Lightly. Just like in Dragon Castle, this minigame is with a tank. Each level makes it another shot needed to clear the enemy. Defeating this 3 times gives you 60 gems and the balloon Rip Talk and the Rip Talk trading cards. The last minigame is Ice Chopper. You have to tap A until the slider gets into the red area. Once it does, you can hit B. Each level makes it faster. The first 2 I had 0 issues with, but the 3rd level I'm not sure why, but I really struggled doing so. Beating this gives you 60 gems and the Allura and Sorceress trading cards. After completing all the minigames, you can now head to the Fire Mountain portal. But after going inside, you are met by Crush and Gulp. I thought this was probably the coolest aspect of the game, fighting them both like this. You have to wait till Gulp sends in 4 bombs, and then you try and headbutt Crush when he's over one of the bombed areas. Doing this twice will make Crush then raise his shield, preventing the headbutt. You can then flame him. He will then send the bomb in that will hit off the shield and hit Gulp. Doing that 3 times will defeat them both. I thought this wasn't super hard, it just took me a while to figure out what I was supposed to be doing. You then arrive at Fire Mountain. You are given the upgrade to flap your wings and allows you to visit different areas, and you can now travel farther than before. The first minigame is Firefight. Most of these minigames are just copy and pasted in each one with different backgrounds. You're riding a little ship and trying to navigate to the portal. In the first level, everything is one shot and goes up each time. This shouldn't be too hard. The 3rd one I did have some issues with, but other than that, it wasn't too bad. Defeating it 3 times gives you 60 gems and the Flame and Hunter Bow training card. The next minigame is Ring of Fire. Once again, just a copy and paste of previous minigames. This one starts off, though, with the shielded Rip Talks and green-blue ones as well, making it a little bit more difficult, but it shouldn't take you too long. Each level is basically the same difficulty. Each time you beat it, it does speed up, though. Defeating it 3 times gives you 60 gems and the Horn Dive and Blinky Dig trading cards. The next minigame is Turn Up the Heat. Just like in the other worlds, you just stay in the same spot and throw bombs and eventually knock them both off. Doing so 3 times gives you 60 gems and the Charging Rhinoc and Sergeant Bird rocket. This is by far the easiest minigames. You didn't have to put out the fire by spamming A. This will allow you to get to the other side of the map and it will also give you 20 gems. Hot Wings is the next minigame. Just like the other times, each level takes another shot to clear through. At this point, you should understand how these work and glide through it. Defeating it 3 times gives you 60 gems and Ripto's Wand and Rocket and Club trading cards. The last one is Pool of Lava. This is just tug of war with the Rip Talk again. Just spam A and it'll be over before it started. Doing this 3 times will give you 60 gems and Charging Rip Talk and Agent 9 Laser trading cards. You can now head through the portal to Wumbo Jungle. Before arriving, it takes you to Nina, who has the Professor and Coco. Let her run into each cage 3 times to release them. After doing so, flame the furnace so you can jump up and get out of there. This one, once again, wasn't super difficult. It just took me a few minutes to understand what exactly I was supposed to be doing. The next area we go to is Wumbo Jungle. Once you arrive, Hunter lets us know to watch out for lab assistants hiding in the bushes. The first minigame is Rip Talks and Rockets. Just like the minigame in Dragon Castle, we are driving through trying to shoot and jump our way to the end. The first level has strange plants, but they don't seem to cause too many issues. Just shoot the flying Rip Talks and advance through. The second level has plants that try to bite you, but isn't much more difficult, and the third level introduces mines, and this one was actually pretty hard. Defeating it 3 times gives you 60 gems and the Fire and Spyro Pose 1 training card. Treetop Flight is the next minigame. This is not difficult, you just have to pay attention as you have to go side to side a lot more. Defeating this 3 times gives you 60 gems and the Ice and Spyro Pose 2. The next minigame is Falling to Pieces. Just like every other time, just spam the same spot and it'll be over quickly. Defeating this 3 times gives you 60 gems and the Wind and Spyro Pose 3 trading cards. You'll then do the Crank It Up challenge, and just like before, just tap A and you'll get 20 gems and access to the other side. The next minigame is Ripto Repellent. At this point, I don't even need to describe it. Defeat it 3 times to get 60 gems and Electricity and Spyro Pose 4 trading cards. The next minigame is Dragon Assault, and once again, it's just a tank minigame. Defeating it 3 times will give you 60 gems and the Bubble and Spyro Pose 5 trading cards. You then go through the portal to Tech Park. This is where you run into Cortex. This is another weird magnet level. Luckily, it was really easy this time. Just dodge and shoot Cortex, and eventually he'll go down and you will win. We didn't get a cutscene with the Professor, Spyro, and Crash. It's really just a roast of Crash, though. If you haven't beat each minigame 3 times, you have to return to do so before entering Tech Park. Once you arrive, you'll do the first minigame, which is Gravity Well, which is just bombing the other side again. Defeating it 3 times will get you 60 gems in the Castle Rip Talk and Crash and Gulp Talisman trading card. The next minigame is Tech Tug, which is just another tug of war minigame. Defeating it 3 times gives you 60 gems in the Spyro Pose 6 and Cortex Talisman trading cards. The next one is Tech Deflect, and at this point I don't need to describe it anymore. Defeating this 3 times gives you 60 gems in the Spyro Pose 8 and Sheep Talisman trading cards. The next minigame was Skywalker. This one took me so incredibly long to defeat. Probably an hour for all 3 levels. Just feels like you couldn't evade the lab assistance at all. Defeating it 3 times gives you 60 gems in the Spyro Pose 7 and Space Chase Talisman trading cards. The last minigame is Space Shoot. The same exact minigame as every other world has to offer. This one at least switches backgrounds a few times, which is intriguing. Finally, you can head to the final portal and fight Ripto and Cortex in space. Keep taking shots at the pipe-looking things until the cannons come out. Continue to shoot this until the arms come out, and then hit the special spots on each arm until they blow off. Doing this will send them off to space. Truly, I thought this was pretty underwhelming to be the final boss battle. After playing the last 2 Game Boy games, I was super stoked for this one. Each one has continued to get better and had high aspirations for this one. Especially this being a crossover with Crash, another beloved series of my childhood. Immediately starting the game, I was disappointed to find out this was a side-scrolling platformer. But it's even more disappointing in finding out this was essentially just completing minigames. At first the minigames were really cool, but after a while it seemed as if it was just being copied and pasted into the next world. After Arctic Cliffs, they were all just super repetitive. It was super cool seeing everyone in this game and seeing all the Crash characters as well. It was also nice having another antagonist in the game that isn't just Ripto. Really was hoping you could play as Crash and Spyro, but I guess that's why Crash has his own version. Also could not 100% this game, since I don't have the other version, but whenever I do the Crash series, I'll make a video about them both and 100% them both. My overall rating for this game is a 6 out of 10. I feel like this is very generous, and this is taking into account that it's a crossover game with Crash. Just very underwhelming and felt like very minimum work was put into this game. The next game in this series has us back on the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube. Spyro: A Hero's Tale. If you made it this far, please consider dropping a like, a comment on what you thought about Spyro Orange, and a sub if you enjoyed this type of content. Thanks for watching and have a great day.